Every life has a spark, a truth the heart never forgets.
And sometimes one conversation is enough to bring it back.
No ego, no noise, just real insights that inspire and brighten the path ahead.
Because living with love isn't an idea, it's a choice that we make every day.
Today, we want to talk about something many people feel, but rarely admit. My life looks good from the outside, but on the inside, something is not right. Our guest today had everything: big titles, big projects, a big life. And then came the moment where his soul simply said, "No more." He listened, and that changed everything. We are thrilled to have Andreas Dudas with us today.
Hi, Andreas. Welcome to this impact.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Great to see you. Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. And where are you now?
I'm actually right away located in Switzerland, here in quite close to the capital in Bern. I'm living on a very nice farm with a few horses. Yeah.
Perfect.
Best company, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So when you look at your life today and compare it to 15 or 20 years ago, what is the biggest difference between the man you were then and the man you are now?
I think I have 15 years ago still, and even 30 years ago when I started my career, I was driven by the typical success principles, which were making profit, making a nice career, achieving things, and you would be admired by other people. And then suddenly I realized that I have to change something because I still felt this emptiness inside me. And the huge difference is I don't feel empty anymore. I have now achieved sort of full spectrum of freedom, of fulfillment, but also sort of a connection to my soul, which shows me that there's much more than just making a career or making a lots of money. So this sense of freedom, this feeling of fulfillment, and especially inner peace, that's the big difference.
So, what was the inner story then? Because you led huge infrastructure and energy project, traveled the world. As you say, it had status, responsibility, right? So, what is the inner story? How did that happen?
Oh, that's a long story, and I try to make it as short as possible. So I was growing up in Switzerland. I was a son of political refugees. My father came from Hungary, spent more than 10 years in a gulag. And then what happens when you are not loved and recognized anymore? Then you start to play a role. You lose your authenticity just for the sake of being loved. And this is what I've been doing for almost 15, 20 years. So then at the age of 27, I got a huge opportunity. I got a huge chance to take over a multi-billion project. And this was the first wake-up call. And why? I was thinking, wow, 27, great career, making more money, absolutely gorgeous. 2 years later, I had lost more than 20 million Swiss francs on the project just because I was not myself. Because if you are not yourself, you are not trustworthy because you're not credible. People don't trust you. And how can you lead people if they don't trust you? So after losing these 20 million, suffering from a burnout, I woke up and then I started to really change myself. And then after changing myself, which meant to dare to be myself more and to put love over fear, then for sure you fall always back sort of into a trap, because you are then sometimes again career driven and success driven. But then at the age of, it was roughly 45, I realized that I have to leave the corporate world in order to live up to my principles, which meant I want to help people to find their inner peace. I want to help them to realize their unique potential, which will really make a real impact on this world. So that was sort of the wake up call. And until today, I'm still a seeker, sort of. We all are seekers, because the most crucial question is, who are we? So that's the sort of my story. Yeah.
And but the thing is that most people push this feeling away. They say, "Don't be ungrateful. Don't be crazy. Just continue doing whatever you are doing." Who gave you the courage to say, "No, I will listen to my soul"? even if I have no idea what comes next?
Difficult question to answer, but I think in my life there was especially one person, or even two persons. First of all, my father, he was always a shining example for me, because he was an example because he showed what it means to dare to be yourself, to have a sort of a thick skin in order to become more resilient. Because when you are starting to be yourself, a lot of people will not love you anymore. They will criticize you and so on. You take a lot of flack, so that's very difficult. And then my lovely wife, I think she is really the eagle in my life, a very visionary person and flying ahead and seeing all the opportunities. And she has been encouraged me for more than 40 years now. We've been
Mhm.
together for 40 years. She encouraged me a lot. She never forced me. She just said, Andreas, open your eyes. Let's have a look at other opportunities. Start to shine, and this helped me a lot, right? And then third, last but not least, this inner calling. It was a very strong inner calling, which urged me a lot, to follow my true purpose. Yeah.
I think that's what true love does, right? And love never can be forced. It can be just supporting, encouraging. What a nice story. So, from that decision, how did it slowly turn into your mission for our planet Earth?
In 2007 until 10, I was still a member of a board. I was running huge companies. I was entering so-called emerging markets such as India. I faced a lot of successes, but at the same time, I realized that in our company, more and more people started to burn out. They were under constant pressure to deliver results, to deliver profit, to run projects even more profitable. And then suddenly I realized I have to change something, I mean, we are all human beings and we want to be treated as human beings. And leadership is a very challenging task, to be honest, I mean, we have to lead, first of all, ourselves because before we can lead other people. But then I attended a mental coaching program in order to find myself, in order
Mhm.
to dig more deeply into my soul. And that was sort of the first, let's put it that way, another milestone in my life. In 2010, then I left the company. I established my first own company. But with my first company, I went bankrupt. I mean, I was thinking, yeah, great, Andreas, he can achieve everything. He's sort of
Oh
the
my God.
superstar. I went back to India again and I started to build up some solar photovoltaic companies, and then it was just a startup which completely failed, But why? It was not the market. It was not my partners. They were really great, but it was me. I always knew that's not my mission on earth. That's not the true mission. That's what's still an ego-driven goal. And you see, until today, you ask me what was the journey or the turning point. I think it has been a constant up and down, Sometimes I felt, wow, that's my mission. So let's dare. And then I was successful in terms of finding more fulfillment and
Uh-huh.
freedom. Then my ego jumped in and said, oh, Andreas, how the hell can you make money by just living your purpose? It's not possible. So driven by fear again. So I went bankrupt. It is a lifelong journey for all of us, I think
Mhm.
I've seen only a few people on this planet who really dare 100% to lead a life driven by love, by this courage, by a commitment, and especially who dare to surrender. I mean, surrender to establish this faith deep inside you.
Mhm.
That's the biggest challenge of all, I mean, to really have the faith, everything will be fine, just to let go and to detach yourself from material things, for example, but also from relationships which do not work anymore. That's the big thing, And to be honest, I still in my life, it's a journey with ups and downs, but it's a learning process, which is fun.
There is a saying when you see on your diagram a line, you are dead, right? So that's a life. It's up and down. It's never straight.
So, and a big part of your mission is your book, Dare, Attaining Greatness Through Authenticity. So, if, say, for example, you come across a stranger or a friend and who has no time and he says, Andreas, tell me about the book in the next 30 seconds or something, what will you say?
The book is a fable, it's based on my true life experience. Why did I write a fable? Because I love stories. I like fairy tales, but it's based on real life stories, and then as a major player in the book, that's me. It's a polar bear, with a thick skin, as I already mentioned. It takes a thick skin to dare. And polar bears are normally mavericks, they're out on the ice, they love ice. And the book has a transformative power, I guess, of this story, So when people read it, they really dive into the book and they start to identify their lives with their own life. That's at least what I heard from people. First, I wanted, or the target group were leaders, I wanted to wake up leaders, dare to live in an inspirational way. But then suddenly children, young people, adults, everybody started to read the book. So the book helps you to identify yourself also with your fears and with your love, which is sitting inside you. So you are really diving into the book, and starting to live the life the polar bear lives. And that's the power behind the book.
Amazing polar bear, so whom you can see, and his name is Robin. And many people will think, nice animal story, right? But why polar bear also? And what part of us does Robin actually represent?
He is sometimes really a maverick, to be alone. Walking the path of living up to your purpose is sometimes connected to loneliness, to be honest, because a lot of people, your friends maybe, they will not understand why you suddenly changed from this job to another job. I mean, I've been coaching so many people in the past, former CEOs who completely changed their lives. So you can imagine their children, their wives, they ask, what the hell is going on with you? Why are you changing, or why are you exchanging your nice career with something which does not make sense to us at all? So that's the reason why I chose a polar bear, to show, yes, it takes courage, but in the end, it is a happy polar bear in the end. So he flourishes and has fun and joy and everything, but it's also he faces a lot of challenges for sure, and he needs a thick
Yeah.
skin.
And now I can completely relate to myself when I left the bank and started impact investing journey. Not an easy step for anyone to step into what's a calling. When there is a calling, then either you follow the calling or not. That's always a choice you have.
And I read the book. I'm a big fan of Robin, and this book to me is walks quite a similar path like books from Hermann Hesse, Siddhartha, or Paulo Coelho. It's quite very similar. So so what I mean to say is that the book is not just a story of a bear, it's a diagram of our inner journey of every human being. So if you would have to draw this on a napkin, and there are 3 or 4 main stations of this journey, where does the person really start, do you think, and when and where can they arrive if they really dare to live their life with the full purpose?
Based on the book, I developed a very simple formula, and I would like to provide you with the formula. I think it's very worthwhile and it helps you a lot. There are actually 3 stages you have to take into consideration in the formula. The first thing you have to become very clear is clarity. What does clarity mean? Ask yourself, what is my purpose? And that's a very difficult question. But by answering 5 simple questions, you can find out what your true purpose is. The first and the most important question is, what is my passion? Passion is a driving force in your life. Whether you have a talent or a gift, it does not matter. Passion is the driving force. Then another very important question, and I ask a lot of CEOs and other people, and they could not answer the question. It's a very simple but difficult question. So I ask both of you, what's the dream? What's your dream? So many people answer, I would like to have a fancy car, a nice house, but that's not a dream. That's a goal you can easily achieve. So what's the dream? And the dream is always related to a higher purpose, to make an impact for the well-being of our planet or entire humanity or whoever. I think that's an important question, because we all have dreams, but we forgot to dream. I mean, we have to dare to dream again. So these are 2 major important elements for finding your purpose. And the third element for sure is, which helps you to identify your purpose, to get this clarity is, what is my true gift? What are my talents? So already these three elements help you to identify the purpose. So that's the first part of the formula. Get clear what and who you are and what you want to do in the future life. The second thing is love. It's pure love, I always keep on saying love over fear is a driving principle. So which means courage, develop courage. And that you can easily achieve. Just take one step to another. I mean, the simple word people don't dare to say is what? No. Huh? I mean, we always want to be liked and loved and recognized. Okay, I do you a favor, but your heart tells you you have no time and that's not your cup of tea. So dare to say no, not just for the sake of saying no, but when your heart tells you say no, say it. And then the last step of this formula, the third pillar, is take actions. A lot of people, they dare to dream, they found their purpose in life, but they don't take any actions because they are scared again, So it takes the thick skin. Just move ahead. Nothing can happen to you. Yeah.
So then, if you answered in one sentence, what is the meaning of life?
There's only one meaning: to rediscover, find, and experience the love sitting inside you. That's the journey we have assumed when we got born. And we will also leave the planet, hopefully, by having found the love inside us. And love means all our gifts, our passion, our dreams. That's the love, right? That's the meaning of life, to find it again. Yeah.
And for you personally, if I look at you, so what is true happiness now? And when you look at your life, at your own work, do you feel that something bigger, whether you call it life, whether you call it God or universe, is supporting you? And if yes, how?
To me, true happiness is to find and to feel the freedom. Feel freedom is really to do what your soul tells you, to live in very close harmony and connection with your soul. That's happiness. Because when you are aligning your desires, we all have the desires, and you're calling with what your soul, your heart is telling you, and you really do and act accordingly. Even if you face sometimes quite harsh challenges, then I feel happy, because then I feel that I have served my soul and not my mind. I always keep on saying, when people ask me what shall I do, lose your mind. That's the best thing you can do. Get just
Surrender your
crazy in a
mind.
way.
That's all we need to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
and really listen to your heart. And the second question, what helped me to find that or to follow the path? It's just the faith. Faith is much stronger than believing in something. Faith, what does it mean? Just to trust life, that if you follow your soul and heart, something, a higher power, whatever it is. To some people it's God, to other people it's Jesus, and to other people it's somebody else, or it's even nature. To me, nature is a very strong factor, which helps me to find faith, because nature is the mirror of completeness, it's the mirror of oneness, it's the mirror of beauty, and all the mirrors show us how beautiful we are, how complete we are, and that helps me to surrender and to develop every day more faith.
According to you, what is the first small dare they can take in the next 24 hours? Something that takes courage but is still doable.
There are three things you can do. First of all, these are three actions which help you to generate a lot of energy and power. You do not have to think and reflect on what is my purpose. That's also sometimes a lot of work to achieve. But you ask for specific questions within 24 hours. The first thing is forgive people. We all learned, I really dare to say learned, to judge people. I mean, we think we are better or we are worse than people, or we know it better or we are wrong, whatever. These are the sicknesses or the diseases of the mind, I keep on saying. So forgive people. The second thing is be grateful for whatever you have. When you are healthy, be grateful for your health. When you have time, be grateful for your time. When you have children, be grateful for your children. To be grateful generates a lot of energy. So you enter sort of a state of a frequency again, of love, which flows back to you. In any way, you will see suddenly you attract the right people, you attract the great jobs, whatever. And the third thing, and the most important, get up from your couch or your sofa, for example, and do what you really love. Whatever it is. If you love to cook, then prepare a nice meal. If you love to see some friends, then take your friends and have a nice meal somewhere or take a journey somewhere. If you want to plant a tree, then plant a tree. Do whatever you love, because the energy of love will bring you automatically back to your true purpose, because it's the energy we would like to feel. And these are the 3 specific actions. So even I have days, when I'm sitting on the sofa, like you, and then I'm
It
thinking,
happens
what
to
the
all of
hell?
us.
Yeah, and then I'm tired, of a few things. I'm snowed under with a lot of administrative work, which I do not like at all. To fill in tax forms, for example, stuff like that. And then I keep on saying, okay, Andreas, what can I do? First of all, I will go to nature. Just stand up, put your shoes on, and walk out to nature to see some trees, touch the trees, so you will see how you can start to calm down. And then I come back and then I see, okay, what do I feel like? Okay, I feel like reading now. Then I take a great book, start to read, for example. Then I watch an inspiring movie, maybe. Just what makes fun, that this is so important. Do what you feel passionate about.
Mhm.
Wow. And if you say that living our true calling is not only for our happiness, but it is also for the future of our planet Earth. So, say, for example, you're speaking now directly to leaders, CEOs, politicians, investors, spiritual leaders. What is one clear message you will give to them? What must they change in the way they lead, starting today?
You have just to love people, period. End of the discussion. I mean, and to be honest, what is leadership all about? I always keep on saying what is the difference between management and leadership? When I used to teach at universities here, I always asked the question. Nobody could answer the question. What is the difference between management and leadership? Management is paperwork, which I do not like at all. Some people like it. That's great. And they are managers, and they should also be managers. Some people, they love people. They love to empower them, to inspire them. And that's the future, to empower people, to unleash their uniqueness. When I used to deliver speeches, I remember very well, a couple of years ago, I had 300-400 people in the audience, then in the last row, a CEO stands up, says, Andreas, what the hell shall we do? I mean, you say we shall dare to live up to our true calling, but where do we end up if everybody in our company starts to live up to his or her calling? And then I looked at him and said, then you will have a brilliant, shining company. And it is scientifically proven by Harvard Business School, by Harvard Medical School, what purpose and passion can achieve, when you start to inspire people and to empower them to unleash their true uniqueness, you will generate so much energy that you will make on average 6% more profit than any other company. And it is proven with thousands of companies. So now nobody should tell me, Andreas, yeah, okay, we should come up with nice processes, which is also might be important. We should have a great vision, which is also important. But first, I mean, at the very beginning, and that's from my point of view, the crucial thing, start to love people, get interested in people's goals, their dreams, their potential, and you will experience miracles on the planet, because you can give only things you already own. So when you discover this passion, this enthusiasm, this God-given gifts, then you start to radiate this energy to the planet, and you will start to love the planet, and the planet will be very, very grateful. Yeah.
So, Andreas, if someone feel a strong resonance with you, with what you're saying, with your book, where can they find you or support your foundations or projects? So, what is the best doorway for them?
I think the best thing and the simplest is get on LinkedIn, get connected with me, drop me a message on LinkedIn, or when you Google Andreas Dudas, you will find enough information. I also have a website. This is a possibility, but the easiest thing is go to LinkedIn and drop me a message, and that's it, Yeah.
Good.
And if you could leave our audience with one image, that stays in their mind after this program is over, a picture of a human being who truly dared to live their calling, what would that image be? Can you describe it for us?
Just this year, I mean, just think about the heart. This is a very special heart, made by a very good friend of mine. So, I mean, this is the power we can take with us, And one last thing, what you can do, and I do this every single morning. That's now a top secret for you. I always keep on saying, and whenever you are in a bad mood or in a bad situation, just say 2 words and repeat them all the time, or 2 sentences. I am love, I am peace. I am love, I am peace. I am love, I am peace. And it will generate miracles. I can promise you.
So thank you, Andreas, for your courage, honesty, your amazing heart, and to everyone who is watching us. Maybe life is also asking you to dare, even if it's just one small step. Do something today. Dare. And love, just love. Be peace and love. Thank you.
Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing this space with us today.
Remember, real impact begins the moment you stop running from who you are.
Let today's story remind you that every soul carries light, even through darkness.
Until next time, stay open, stay human, and lead with love.